right, as we get started today, we don't necessarily need any particular props. I always have a couple blocks and a blanket handy. I like to be able to pad my knees anytime we're in tabletop and things like that. But props are not necessary for the class we are going to take today. But feel free to grab anything that you like to support your practice with. And we will get started today here in just a minute. Making sure everybody signed up has the chance to log in live.
Hi, Molly.
Hey,
How are you?
how are you this morning?
I'm good. I did your yoga class at like 9 o'clock last night too.
Oh yeah, nice. Which one was it? Was it the one from Tuesday morning?
Yeah, the 9 o'clock.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, I can't remember what day. Maybe it was Monday.
Yeah.
I don't know. Today's Thursday. It must have been Tuesday.
Today is Thursday. That is correct.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Lord, y'all, I've just been sitting in front of this computer. I don't even know what day it is.
Oh, I hear. It's been weird.
It's been really weird. You know, what I love about teaching has definitely gone away.
Yeah, it has been weird.
I hope I can
practice today.
Pardon me?
Is there anything you'd like in particular in class today?
Is it just me?
It's just you live, so we can have whatever class you want.
Oh gosh. Well, do you I mean, I can just watch it later, Molly.
I'm gonna record it now, whether it's the two of us practicing or if it's just me.
Okay.
So I just thought, since it's just me and you live, if there's anything you'd like in particular, I'd be happy to integrate it.
I mean, really, I feel very achy. I think it's because I'm usually so active and I have been sitting so much.
Mm-hmm.
I have been doing a lot of walking, and I feel like my feet, like last night, you know, some of the balance poses, it's like my feet were just hurting.
Do you have a ball or anything handy you could use to roll?
Yeah, I have a roller, a foam roller.
Yeah, do you have any balls?
Well, tennis balls.
Yeah, grab a tennis ball and I'll go grab one, and we'll start with feet today then. And you've been sitting a lot, I've been sitting a lot too. We'll focus on opening some of the side of the body up into the hip flexors. I'll go grab a ball.
My hips and all that are so tight. Okay, I'll go look for a ball.
All right, I'll go grab one too. Jennifer, just let me know when you get back.
Okay.
All right, there. I'm gonna pop you back on mute.
Okay, yeah, I can do it.
Okay, awesome. And we'll get started rolling our feet. So if you are practicing with this class later, do go ahead and make sure you grab some sort of ball. Most likely a tennis ball. Today I'm using a yoga therapy ball. It's comes in a whole set of different sizes of things that work similar to different pressures of a massage therapist. But I often use tennis balls, you know, the different softnesses of the options we have at the studio. Anything that we can roll through the arches of the foot. Before we find some rolling, go ahead and just reach your arms up and then hinge forward to a forward fold. Just notice how the back line of the body feels. And we'll do a check-in after we've rolled both feet. And then we'll inhale our way back up and start rolling. So pick a foot, any foot, we're gonna do both. And get the ball right around the middle of the arch. Unless you are using something like a lacrosse ball, which is a little bit harder, start with a little bit of press and release onto the ball, kind of trying to smush the ball into the mat and into your foot. You can stay in the middle of the arch, or maybe explore some of the edges and just let the ball move maybe a 1/4 of an inch and press a couple times, and then move again and press a couple times. Creating some space in your feet. Then you can begin to kind of roll the length of your arch, maybe 3 to 5 rolls there on the inner arch. And then gently moving through the center. Whenever we roll our feet, we're usually pretty good at getting the center line of our feet. But rolling the blade edges in the inner arch, sometimes a little bit harder to do. Sometimes the ball escapes. Practicing outside today. It's almost warm enough in the sun. So I've got a few layers on. Now, scooting that ball close to the heel. And again, if you're using a lacrosse ball, don't necessarily push down. But if you're using something a little softer, you can press down and kind of sway the foot. Just noticing any sensation. You mentioned you've been walking a lot, which means your feet have also been confined in some shoes. And depending on the distance, that might also be creating some tightness through the feet as well. And then you can start to roll heel to toe. So you kind of roll all the way to the big toe and back. Then up the line to the second toe and back. Moving through the toes, you might get a couple toes at once. My toes are very close together there, and so sometimes if I try to roll one, I create space on the other one as well. And the last thing I'll do on this foot before we switch sides is taking the ball across the muscles. So rolling the foot side to side versus up and down. Same thing, roll a couple times, maybe get into the ball of the foot. You could also squeeze your toes around the edge of the ball and release. Just giving those muscles, those little muscles, some relaxation and massaging into that fascia. After we've done both feet, you might notice a significant difference from the first forward fold to your second. Then take 1 or 2 more rolls, whatever you need, and we'll switch sides. Maybe circle out the ankle, flex and point the toes before it steps to the mat. You might even notice a difference from one foot to the other, just standing in mountain pose. The foot that you rolled for me, since I'm your mirror, it would be my right foot as the mirror. I feel it relaxing a little bit more than the left, and I can feel more parts of my foot touching the floor. We'll go ahead and switch feet, starting there in the arch with that press and release. And you're really the in charge of intensity here, pressing it as well as placement. Your feet may need something slightly different than mine. Ideally, we're going to go through it about the same approach as we did on the first foot. But I know, at least for my feet, I've got a lot of old foot injuries. And so the musculature and scar tissue is very different from one foot to the other. Just kind of moving that 1/4 inch through the arch, finding that press and release. Turns out I needed to roll my feet too, so good call on your part. Then when you hit those points for the press and release, you can start just rolling through the arch. Again, exploring the edges, but feeling free to take time in the center as well. Weight edge of my foot is a lot today. And then you can kind of, I think we went to heels next. Pressing in on the heel. This one's hard for me to stay in control of the ball. And then you kind of press down slightly and swipe your foot. It's sort of like if you look at your toes, you're kind of drawing a rainbow with your big toe as you massage into the heel with your ball. And then rolling the length of the foot, kind of going from heel all the way up to a toe. Going out through the maps of the muscles and bones through the foot. Heel to toes. The roll can be as fast or slow as you like. I find that the slower I roll, the more sensation I can create. And then one last directed one here, rolling across the foot, blade edge to inner arch. And taking a couple final rolls that your foot needs, and then circling it out, sliding that ball out of the way, pausing in your mountain pose, maybe feeling a little more space between your toes. And we'll take that forward fold again. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, forward fold. Just noticing maybe a little bit of depth. We haven't done any warm up through the hamstring, calves, or low back. We have released through the fascia on the bottoms of our feet. And I definitely feel a little bit deeper in my forward fold. Taking an inhale, lifting halfway up here. Exhale, we'll plant our hands. We'll go ahead and make our way back to a child's pose. Puppy pose if you prefer, with the arms extended, hips high. Settling into our practice, checking in with how the body feels. Maybe a gentle sway from side to side. As you arrive on your mat, feet are ready to go. As you pause here, perhaps you choose to set an intention that guides your practice. Working through a practice that focuses on opening and finding space. Perhaps your intention looks toward that. On your next exhale, let your fingertips creep to the right side of your mat, stretching the left side body. Maybe the hips drop to the left. You can create some leverage. I've got my right hand on top of my left hand. And fingers creep through center as you find your second side. Hands come back center, and you can pull yourself into tabletop. Feeling free to pause briefly to pad your knees. You might be in tabletop for a little bit of time. And then returning to that neutral supported spine. Hands are under shoulders, knees under hips, crown of the head reaching forward, tailbone reaching back. If your wrists are giving you any tension or tightness, you could hang out in fists, especially in tabletop. On your next inhale, drop the belly looking up for cow. Exhale, round the spine to cat pose. Syncing your breath with your movement here. As you pass through a couple more traditional cat-cows. And then maybe you add your own flair and variation. I really like jump roping my spine. Maybe you like to create S shapes. Or maybe you just pause for an extra breath in cat or cow. Maybe you shimmy the shoulders while in cat pose, rocking gently from side to side. Doing anything that feels good to your spine, creating additional mobility, and finding some space. You've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pausing in the neutral spine of tabletop. Toes are tucked or not, yogi's choice. We're going to stretch our left toes back, pressing into the ball of the foot, opening up through the back line of that leg. Maybe you take a couple bounces through the toes. Intensity and depth of stretch here, totally up to you, and the force you choose to apply to your hands as you press back to the toes. For 3, 2, and 1. Lifting those toes, reaching them up and across. Pressing to those toes again, targeting the right hip, but you might feel a stretch on the whole left side body as well. You can bounce through the toes here gently if you like, or maybe you like the static stretch. You can peek at your toes or continue looking at your hands. Reaching the toes behind you, letting them hover hip height, big toe and kneecap facing down. Right fingers reaching forward, feeling strong and stable here. Noticing how you might have shifted your weight to accommodate the point of stability shift. And we'll inhale here, exhale, rounds, elbows to knees. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale. We've got 3, 2, and 1. Extending and reaching long, bending at the back knee. Maybe the right toes grab, no, the right hands grab the left toes. Getting into shoulder opening, quad, and hip flexor. If you've got the foot, kick into the hand and pull the foot forward to create depth and balance. Releasing, settling the limbs to the mat, wiggling it out, cat-cowing in between as we switch sides. Right toes press back, starting with that calf hamstring stretch. Maybe pressing and a slight bounce through the toes. Or maybe your body likes the static version. Finding whatever version you've chosen for 3, 2, and 1. Leg lifts, toes reach across, pressing into the floor, targeting the external rotator of your left hip, as well as the right side body. Again, you have the option to take that slight bounce to the foot. Maybe you gaze at the toes behind you. Then toes lift, kneecap, big toe facing down, and left fingers reach forward. Stabilizing here, feeling the belly button pull to the spine. Length fingertip to heel. We inhale here, exhale, round, elbows to knees. And extend. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Kicking that foot behind, bending at the knee, maybe hands and toes meet. And you kick in. Taking that hip flexor and quad stretch on your second side. Releasing, hopefully not slingshotting. Limbs find the mat, wiggling it out. And then eventually making your way to your down dog. I thought it was going to be cold outside. Turns out that's not true. As you arrive in your down dog, if you're padding your knees, you can scoot that blanket out of the way. As you walk your dog, wag your tail, finding whatever movement you need here, and listening to how the body wants to move. As you feel your hands active on the mat, shoulders pressing away from the ears, hips reaching high. Belly engaged. The support the back. Finding movement here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Arriving at the outward stillness of your down dog. Feeling strong and stable through the feet and hands. Your next inhale lifts the heels, bends through the knees as you look forward. Exhale, step tops or walks you to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lifts. Exhale, hold. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up to mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart. Pausing as you arrive in a joint stack, shoulders over hips, knees and ankles. Again, you might notice those feet spreading a little wider on the mat. Inhale, arms reach high, hands come to the top. Maybe you hook thumbs, maybe you stay in prayer. Pressing the arms back slightly as you press the hips forward. For a very gentle and stable heart opener back bend, you could take the gaze toward the ceiling. Maybe your knees stay bent slightly so the tailbone stays down. And you open through the front side of the body. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifts. Exhale, plant the hands, steps the right toes back. Bringing yourself up to crescent lunge. Front knee stacks over the ankle. Hands might reach high. Then elbows go wide to a cactus arm. Taking an upright twist here toward the left. Resisting the urge to twist with your elbow. Feeling the core initiate movement. As we hold for 3, 2, and 1. Returning center. Opening the chest to the ceiling. Coming neutral, hands reach. Left hand to left hip. We reach up and over to the left. Opening through the hip flexor, quad, maybe even the psoas of the right leg. Inhale brings you center. Exhale, plants your right hand on the mat or a block for a supported twist in your crescent. Rooting through the hand, pulling the front hip back as you open the chest toward that knee. And framing the foot, stepping it back to down dog. And curling it up and out to high plank. Lowering for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands stay under the shoulders, toes untuck, cobra pose. Fingers can be light on the mat or hover. Checking in with the back of the neck here, making sure you're not crunching. So the gaze is forward and down. Exhale, releases, tucking the toes. Maybe you pass your child's pose on your way to down dog. Pausing in your down dog for 2 rounds of breath. Inhale, lift your left toes high. Bending through the knee as the hip opens. Squaring that leg back off to three-legged dog. Your next exhale steps the left foot between the hands, and the right foot steps to meet it, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms reach, taking that front body opening. I envision my body looking like a banana if you saw me from the side view. So I'm rooting down through my feet. My tailbone is still tucked slightly, and I'm opening toward the ceiling. Beautiful. Your next exhale folds. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plants the hands, steps the left toes back, peeling up to our crescent lunge on the second side. Feeling shoulders squaring over hips as the elbows go wide, cactus or goalpost arms. Feeling length in the spine as you inhale here. Exhale takes that upright twist to the right side. Still feeling tailbone reaching down. Crown of the head still reaches high. Your next inhale unwinds. Pausing in that neutral spine. And then lifting the chest to the ceiling with those goalpost hands. Inhale, returns, arms come high. Right hand to right hip as you stretch up and over to the right, opening through the left side. Inhale brings you center. Exhale, left hand to the mat, supported twist. Framing that foot, stepping it back, down dog. Inhale curls you up and out. Exhale lowers for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lifting into baby cobra, maybe you're a little bit higher. Feeling the strength coming from the upper back and middle back. Instead of dropping into the lumbar spine. Exhale, releases. Tucking the toes, making your way to down dog. Pausing here for 2 rounds of breath. Inhale, reaches your right toes high. Bending through the knee as the hip opens. Squaring everything off to three-legged dog. And your next exhale steps the right toes through. And then the left toes come to meet it, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart. Step it out, sway it out. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit of openness through that front side body. That crescent with that side bend is one of my favorites for hip flexor tightness. It's also a great balance challenge. As you're ready, we'll meet back in mountain pose. Once again, finding that joint alignment. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, chair pose. Hips sinking down and back. Choosing the right placement for your shoulders for the arms today. For me, that's heart center. Maybe that's hands high or even Frankenstein arms. Hips sinking down and back. Tailbone reaches down, allowing for space in the lumbar spine. Your hands are not already at your heart. Go ahead and bring them there. Weight shifts over to that left foot. Figure four-ing the right across the quad. Funky chair. A hip opener and a balance all at once. We're going to stay upright today. Feeling that external rotation, getting a nice little bit of a stretch here. Feeling strong in that left foot. Feeling the corners of the foot pressing down. And we're going to straighten and unhinge that leg. Step it back a big step. Toes pointing to the long edge of the mat. Front foot pressing to the short edge. And we arrive in warrior two. Flipping your front palm as you open the chest to the ceiling, exalting your warrior. Inhale brings you neutral. Exhale tips it forward, extended side angle. Maybe you choose elbow to knee. Maybe that hand hovers. Top arm could reach to the ceiling, or bicep could come to the ear. Toward the ear, don't rest the arm. Inhale, arms bring you back up. Straightening through that front knee, turning the toes to the long edge of your mat. Inhale, press the hips forward as you open the chest to the ceiling. Exhale, hinges, wide angle forward fold. Hand placement is up to you here. Maybe they stay pressed into the mat under the shoulders. Maybe they reach for feet. Or any other variation you like here. Feeling the crown of the head reaching toward the mat. Give your head a shake, making sure there's not tension in the back of the neck. Then releasing any grips you've taken, walking your hands over to your left leg. Maybe you grab at the foot or ankle. Keeping both legs straight to start. Finding a variation of stretch here. And then keeping your body to the right, to the left, sorry. Bend your right knee. Straightening the leg and walking the hands over to your opposite side. Hands reaching and holding on anywhere they can on that opposite leg. Feeling a little bit of stretch to the side body. Opening up through the hamstring. Then bending your opposite knee. Maybe you say hello to your IT band. Or the inner line of your thigh. Straightening the knee. Hands come center. Then hands walk all the way to the short edge of the mat, coming up on the back toes. Lizard lunge. Left leg forward. Starting in this nice active lizard lunge. Then maybe you choose to lower the knee to the mat and surrender forward to the elbows. You could also angle your front toes out slightly or roll to the blade edge of that foot. For me, that helps me intensify the front line stretch that I'm getting on the right side of my body. We've been doing a lot of computer sitting. Those hip flexors just going to be a little bit tighter than normal. We've been in flexion for long periods of time. Then coming back, pressing through the hands, tucking through the back toes, stepping the left foot to meet the right, high plank. Lowering for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This time, sliding the palms forward, elbows under the shoulders, Sphinx pose. Still feeling length through the back of the neck. Forearms and hands have some weight and pressure in them. Belly button is trying to lift off the mat. That core engagement allows for the low back to find support. And lowering yourself down. Maybe you pause, hands make a pillow for the forehead. And then we make our way back to down dog. Pausing in your down dog for 2 rounds of breath. Then inhale, lift the heels, bending through the knees. Exhale, brings you to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Maybe a baby back bend at the top. Exhale, hands to heart. Feeling free to step it out, sway it out. Those cardinals are not happy that my cat is outside. He could not be more uninterested in them though. As you're ready, we'll meet back in mountain pose. Maybe gently swaying, feeling the weight, finding equal distribution across the feet. As we set up for our second side. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, hips down and back, chair pose. Then those arms find your preference for chair. We started with regular chair, hips reaching down and back. Shoulders reaching back as if they could touch the chair behind you, the invisible one. And then bringing hands to heart center, weight shifts toward that right foot. Left leg reaches up and across, figure fouring for funky chair. Staying in the upright version here, often we hinge. Feeling activation through that figure forward foot that will help you with some balance and stability. Hips continue to sink down and back, shoulders continue to reach behind. Tailbone still reaches toward the mat. And uncrossing, left knee reaches up. Left foot steps back pretty far as we settle into warrior 2 on our second side. Collarbones and hips facing the long edge of your mat. Tailbone reaching down. Rib cage still closing to create core engagement and joint stack. Flipping your front palm as we reach up and back. Exalting. Keeping the front knee nice and bent. Inhale brings you up. Exhale, extended side angle. Choosing the variation that feels best for your body here. Resisting the urge, though, to drop into the shoulder, still keeping space between the ear and shoulder. Inhale brings you up, straightening through that front knee, toes turn to the long edge of the mat. Hands come to the hips, chest and hips press forward as you open to the ceiling. And then exhale, hinges. Wide angle forward fold once more. Maybe you play with the same placement of the arms as you did first round. Maybe you take a different option. Maybe you're starting to feel additional openness through the hamstrings. I feel some space in my IT bands. Then releasing your grip, hands come underneath the shoulder. Rooting your left hand underneath your face, lifting up to almost a halfway lift, and then twisting to the right. Maybe the hand comes to the hip or reaches to the ceiling. Feeling weight pressing across both feet evenly. And bringing the right hand down, switching everything out, opening up to your left. Then returning center. Walking the hands to the front edge of the mat, making your way to lizard lunge on your second side. Hands are under shoulders. Then maybe you surrender down. Taking any variation here that feels good to your body. Maybe exploring that toes angled out slightly in the blade edge roll of the front foot. You can come down to elbows. Personally, that doesn't increase the stretch for me. I get a little bit more opening by staying upright. And coming back up square, creep that foot back in slightly if you opened it out. Tucking the back toes, we step it back to high plank. Lowering to the mat, nice and slow. Forearms come to the mat, elbows under shoulders, Sphinx pose. Feeling free to stay here. Or maybe you press through the hands with a slight bend to the elbows for King Cobra. Exhale, releases. Maybe hands create a pillow. And pressing your hips back to meet your heels for a pause in child's pose. As you pause here, maybe you take a gentle sway, rocking and swaying. Are some of your body's natural responses to create a soothing sensation in times of stress. Then as you're ready, no rush, we're going to come up for a little bit of camel. Finding openness through the entire front side of the body. Quads all the way to heart. So maybe you pad your knees, maybe you fold your mat back to create that additional padding. We're going to take half camel and then an option for full camel, easing our way into this huge stretch for the front side of the body. So coming up to stand on your knees, choosing to tuck your toes or to keep the shoelace sides of your feet on the mat. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, right hand reaches back to right heel. Maybe the gaze is down at that foot. Maybe you look up at the hand as the hips press forward. Maybe getting a little more of a stretch on the left side and a little bit of a twist on the right side. Your next inhale brings the right arm up. Exhale, finds the second side, left hand to left heel. Hips press forward. Inhale brings you center. Exhale lowers to a brief child's pose. Maybe hands by the side of the leg. Inhale brings you up. Taking one more round, this time finding your version of full camel. Maybe the toes tuck, maybe shoelace sides stay down. Hands could be in fists on your low back to provide external support. Even if you're going to reach all the way for the heels, we'll start with the hands pressing right there at the low back, right there at the sacrum. Inhale opens the chest up and back, remembering that banana shape that we did earlier in mountain. Then choosing where you'd like to pause. Hands stay for external support, or maybe the hands reach to the heels simultaneously for your full camel. Wherever you are, hips press forward, chest open. Gently bringing yourself back up and rounding over the child's pose. And as you're ready, inhale curls you up, dropping your hips to one side and guiding yourself down to your spine, back to mat, knees to chest. Feeling the back, releasing and relaxing into your space on the mat. That gentle rock is always a great option. Closing out our practice with a gentle supine spinal twist. Gently let the knees drop to your right side. Maybe the knees stack. Maybe you prefer a different rack for the legs. Maybe the left shoulder finds the mat. And the gaze peeks at the left fingers. Your next inhale brings the knees through center. Exhale drops them to your second side. inhale brings the knees center. Maybe you hug the knees to the chest once more. Or if there's any final posture your body might be craving, give that to it now. Could be a happy baby, a gentle inversion. One final front side of the body opening in bridge pose. Or maybe you're ready to surrender into your Shavasana, taking maybe 1 minute to explore any postures, and then settling in. As you settle, bring your awareness to the front side of your body, noticing how tension has been released and space has been created. Acknowledging a sense of openness as it washes over the body as you rest in your Shavasana. If your mind wanders, simply call it back with the rhythm of your natural breath pattern. I find, especially in my home practice, Shavasana is sometimes the hardest one, but it is the most important. Feeling free to linger in your Shavasana, or perhaps begin to draw conscious movement back into the body. Maybe wiggling fingers and toes, deepening the breath. Eventually taking a full body stretch, fingers away from toes, and then hugging the knees to the chest. Maybe you find a gentle rock. Eventually rolling to your favorite side, pausing there as your practice settles into the body. And slowly pressing through the top hand, guiding yourself up to a comfortable seat. Eyes are closed or downcast. as we close our practice with a nice deep inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, hands pause at your third eye as you seek openness of mind. They rest at your lips so that you find honest words, and they settle at your heart as you arrive at a happy heart. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide for your practice. Namaste. Thanks for practicing with me today. One of my favorite things about teaching online is that I get to see everybody from the Gainesville studio more often.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
No, I'm glad that you're teaching because I really enjoy your class.
Thanks. Hopefully that helped. You said you'd been sitting on the...
Oh yeah, my feet felt so much better.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
You said, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm going to keep this tennis ball and use it because
Yeah, even when you're just sitting at the computer, roll your feet. Why not?
I know, I forget about doing it. You know, there's so many things you can do and you just don't even think about it.